Well, hello there. So, about a week ago, I made a video called Unconventional Eating, and I mostly talk about, like, fruitarianism or, like, ahimsa, or I know that's kind of out there, like, yeah, the thing about unconventional eating is I think I didn't make that video the best it could have been, or like I didn't cover all my bases. Like there are obviously a lot of diets out there, like a lot of different ways to eat, which sort of mess up when you think about it. I mean, we're all kind of the same species, so and we've been around for millions of years, so you'd think like people would find just one thing that works and stick with it, but no, people have to, you know, fight about stuff. And so unconventional eating, the main point I wanted to make in this video was how, like, the reason we have like 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, why most people do that, like, all across the world, is because, well, all started when, I guess the white settlers, the Europeans, came to America when after Columbus discovered it, and they saw natives just eating whenever they felt like it. And like I've read that Native Americans would sometimes do periodic fasting for, I guess, spiritual reasons or whatever, and or they're just not hungry. Like, I know it's a really bad habit. Like, why do people eat when they're not hungry? It's like, yeah, I'll get back to that in a minute. And so the natives would be, they just eat whenever they felt like it. They'd do periodic fasting sometimes, and they'd adjust their diet depending on the time of year. So I guess in the winter they ate a lot, and in the spring and summer they ate less. Um, because I guess they were concerned about like getting like in the winter maybe they're not gonna get another chance to eat or something, or they don't know when their next meal's coming. So yeah, the white sellers saw that and were like, "What? We're better than that. We're gonna make a like scheduled thing so it's consistent, and so we know because we know where our meals are coming from, our next meal's coming from, and yeah. So also want to talk about, yeah, thing about eating when you're not hungry. It's like that's a bad habit, and I've actually heard that from my psychology teacher that you aren't really supposed to eat after the sun goes down, like, because yeah, it's a thing that's been scientifically proven that the sun's energy helps us digest or something. So yeah, eating when you're not hungry is not really good for you. I mean, because then your body isn't ready to absorb it, or just like your body's not asking for it. So it's like, why? Your body's pretty much saying like, why do you give me this? I didn't say that I wanted this. And yeah, obviously people don't just sound like everyone just gets hungry at 12 p.m. or I don't know. People don't all just get hungry at the same time. Like, so why do we have the breakfast, lunch, dinner on a schedule thing? It's like, and, in other countries they have a like other countries. I think in Spain or no, I know in Russia, like the the lunch meal, midday meal is most important because like I've read that you're supposed to have your biggest meal in the middle of the day so you have more time to digest it. Like, so it's not like breakfast you should eat like king, lunch like queen, and dinner like a jack. It's like, or the reverse. It's like uh I think it's, yeah, you should have more to eat in the middle of the day and less like later in the day, like, so it doesn't keep you up for sleep. I mean, and that's something they say, like, if you eat sugary stuff or caffeine or when you're about to go to bed, it's like it's bad for your sleep. And I think sleep's more important than food, or like, I know what we're putting into our diet, into our bodies is still important. I mean, you are what you eat, but it's like, I don't think people don't have to like eat every day, or like I don't really, like, there is something called intermittent fasting where, you know, they know, these people know that humans can live without, like, we're designed to survive. We're designed to survive, so like, when I think fasting like restarts the immune system, or like, you know, look it up, there are a lot of health benefits, plus like, yeah, don't eat when you're not hungry. And so like yesterday, I drank water, and that's it. I just drank water. And there have been days where I don't even drink water, or sometimes I just don't eat for like 2 days, or sometimes 3 days, or 4 days, or, you know, it's not really that, like, eating's, I don't think it's that complicated. Like, people, you know, we have all these different, like, there are all these different diets, but there's actually like this kind of like subculture of people who they don't eat lunch because they know uh you don't really need lunch. Like, I think the Vikings back in I guess around the time of Leif Erikson, or before that, when they were like raiders, or yeah, like that. The Vikings just ate 2 meals a day, one in the one in the morning and one at night. One called day meal and night meal, and that was after they like they had the day meal, the morning meal, after they were working on the farms a lot. So it's like, you know, back in the day or whatever, it's like people started eating like that because, I mean, I think back then, like, people usually burn more calories, or like they had more physical labor to do, or like, you know, we didn't just pretty much wake up, lay in bed, play on our phones, or watch YouTube, watch whatever TV, Netflix. Like, they didn't have as much technology back then, so they pretty much just, you know, they got hungry because they exercised, or yeah, from just living. And so unconventional eating, you are what you eat. Also wanted to say that oh no, there is something called dry fasting, which, I mean, fasting for your health is like, I don't think fasting's, I mean, you can look it up, or you don't die. People get so worried about stuff, but no, you don't die on fast, or like, if it's a fast by choice, like, I mean, there is like if you're not ready for it, if you're not already healthy, like maybe it's not such a good idea, but it's like, yeah, if you can, you probably should fast or not eat. Don't eat when you're not hungry, and it's like, what else I want to say? Oh yeah, well, so what was I just talking about? Um, I mean, there's still that thing where, like, we don't survive on food. We survive on the energy in food. So, I mean, if we just survived on food, we won't keep cropping it out. So it's like all food is, I don't know, toxic or like something. You know, there's all this stuff that the body doesn't want or doesn't require. So like we eat energy pretty much. Um, oh, I want to talk about like Jesus. Like, didn't he fasted for 4 days? So it's like, I guess to know what a human's like, or to know how humans are supposed to live. Like, getting back to that, taking away all the first world like first world comforts and start trying to live like humans actually lived before, even before biblical times. So it's like knowing what people did in the Neolithic age or Paleolithic age, or yeah, so trying to live like that's a good thing. I mean, so that's why people, they hunt, because like a wild game is so much different from like what you buy in stores. Like those animals are force fed, like it's made in a factory farm. It's not. It's not a real farm. It's a factory. So it's like, yeah, when you eat wild game, it's like that's what people actually had to eat for for all these industries, or for the agricultural revolution. So it's like if it didn't exist before the industrial revolution, like now we have Pringles or Oreos or all these manufactured processed things, hot dogs, hamburgers. Like if it didn't exist before the industrial revolution, you probably shouldn't eat it. Or really, if it didn't exist before the agricultural revolution, you shouldn't eat it. But then would we eat anything? Like, you know, it's it's pretty hard to find foods that existed before the agricultural revolution. So unless you live in like a tropical area, you can't really do that. You should try to, but like, no, I can't do that. Um, so yeah, Jesus fasted, and so did David Benjamin. If you don't know who David Benjamin is, he was a magician. So it's like I think he fasted for 40 days, and maybe without water, even like knowing what a human, the types of things that a human is designed to that a human can like knowing the limits of human, what a human does, like to actually live like real humans. So unconventional eating, like sometimes you don't even have to eat every day. Like just eat when you're hungry. That's like the simplest thing. Like um Yeah, I mean, portion size in the United States is like so much more, and in the other countries, it's like in Europe, I think, like when I had a German exchange student for a day when I was showing him around school, he told me the first thing he realized about America was a um a large in Germany is as small in America as in food. So it's like, yeah, our portion size is very different. It's like, yeah, people eat, I think, more than they have to, then you're taking on like all that shit, all that extra weight, or I don't know, you're kind of, those are like blockages for your arteries or whatever. Just all this unnecessary stuff that's kind of clogging up your glands or whatever, nervous system. Um, so like you can look on TED Talk. It's like there are all these TED Talks about how like not eating, how fasting boosts brain growth, or like how people eat more than they need to, and it's like people take on all that fat, or like I laugh at how people say they can't go vegan because like nuts the main source of vegan protein, which like just because you're vegan doesn't mean you have to eat nuts. It's like nuts aren't a staple. It's like there are other sources of vegan protein, but so people say they can't go vegan because nuts have a lot of fat, but no, it's like, I mean, where do you get your protein from? Do you get your protein from steak, pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers? It's like, the are you saying those things don't have fat? I mean, yeah, I mean, fats, not all fat's bad. It's like there's good fat and there's bad fat. But I guess the worst fat comes from animal products, like, because the fat in cow's milk or butter or all the dairy or meat, like those have uh there's saturated fat, which I mean there's saturated fat in a vegan diet too. But again, I say like balance is always a good rule of thumb. A good thing to go with is just balance of all the stuff. But so I think that's all I want to say about unconventional eating.